Good afternoon. My name is Graham Satter. I'm the Executive Director of Mitchell Conservatorium, and I would like to firstly acknowledge that we are giving and broadcasting this presentation from Wiradjuri land this afternoon. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and also to acknowledge any First Nations people anywhere who may be watching this today or at any later date. COVID-19 has been obviously a challenge for us all and created various impediments for music education, for music activity and participation. We're thrilled though that this year, as things settle down a little, cross fingers, that we're still able to present a recital of our scholarship winners. We did so last year from our old premises, the courthouse in Bathurst, and this year having fairly recently settled into our new Bathurst premises at 130 Havana Street, that we're able to do this afternoon. Given that we have been restricted by COVID and by various legal issues around that, some of our 2021 scholarship winners are not able to perform this afternoon, also because things like the HSC and other things have also been postponed. There are some clashes, and also one of our scholarship winners is ill. So this will be a fairly short recital to celebrate not just the talent, not just the skill, but the commitment also of our scholarship winners. Every year, Mitchell Conservatorium provides scholarship, not just to the best and brightest, as it were, but also to some emerging students, some emerging performers who show great commitment, great passion, as well as great potential. So, we're going to commence this afternoon with Isabella Taylor, one of our violin students who has been with us and studying the violin for many, many years. Isabella has just gone into year 12. I think she's probably really about 28. I think she's been 16 for quite a number of years, but given the talent that you will hear in just a moment. So Isabella is going to be accompanied by Nicole Hamill, who is our head of string studies. Isabella learns and has learned for some time from Nicholas Newell. She's going to play a very well-known piece this afternoon. It's a chaconne attributed to Tommaso Vitali. It's a very, very famous piece and has been very popular, particularly since the early 20th century when it was made very popular by Jascha Heifetz. So no further ado, let's listen to Isabella Taylor. And thank you to Isabella Taylor. And Isabella is a winner of the Gareth Bullock Scholarship for 2021, and that is our principal scholarship. And we're obviously very, very proud of Bella, and it's one of the examples of the answer to the question, why do we do what we do? And that'll be why. So thank you also to Nicole Hamill, expertly accompanying there. And Nicole Hamill is the head of our string studies and also a very, very accomplished accompanist, as you can see. So thank you. So next up we have Charles Croker. Charles is the winner of a Friends of Conservatorium Scholarship. And Charles is going to play a piece, Sonata in D major, the Allegro by Domenico Scarlatti. So we're staying in the Baroque period at the moment. And Scarlatti, who of course is famous for as being a prodigious composer for the keyboard. So I think no further ado, we're going to hear Charles Croker with the Sonata in D major, the Allegro by Domenico Scarlatti. Charlie Croker there with that beautiful little sonata by Domenico Scarlatti, and the particular piano that Charles was playing, and that is in our performance room here at our Bathurst premises, is quite a dynamic, and it's a very, very fine piano, a modern piano. And for Charlie to make the piano sound as delicate as that, to fit that Baroque sound, is really quite something. So there's, once again, a great deal of talent. But as I said at the opening of today's recital, it's not just talent that we recognise through these scholarships, but also commitment and passion, and a real understanding of the music and a real drive to communicate. And that's something that we've certainly seen with both of our first two performers today, and it's something that we will continue to see. MitCon Conservatorium, as I said a little earlier today, does award scholarships each year, and somewhere between the 15 and 20 mark usually, and that is to recognise talent and commitment and potential, of course. At this time of COVID, as I mentioned also earlier, we've had many, many challenges, and certainly some of the scholarships come from the Friends of the Conservatorium, and they come from various sources, and we've been very, very, very grateful to some local businesses and business people who have donated funds for scholarships. With COVID and the impacts that it has had, we have this year had fewer and lesser funds being able to be donated and committed to scholarships. And we would certainly, firstly, again, thank all of our donors. But secondly, if you are watching this performance, and if you know of some generous benefactors who are keen to see the work done by the Conservatorium and other organisations like us, just seeing that work done, then please feel quite proud and brazen, if you like, to direct them towards us, as we do need to be able to continue this work. You've seen from both of the performers so far today the benefits of scholarships and supported tuition, and we very much, we're always on the lookout to communicate with us and connect with some, benefactors and people who really want to put, I suppose to put it crudely, their money where their mouth is. So if you have friends or associates you think could contribute, there are not set amounts necessarily that we source, but we're always very, very happy, in fact, enthusiastic in having those conversations. We're going to move on now to the next performer, Caitlin Thew, who is a harpist. She is a student of Gwenda Davies, and she is a recipient of a Bathurst Spring Spectacular Scholarship for 2021. She's going to play Segadilla from a suite of 8 dances by Carlos Salcedo, who as his name sounds Spanish, but indeed he was a prominent French harpist and pianist and also composer, and was really responsible early to mid 20th century with really bringing the harp to the fore as a very prominent solo instrument. So with no further ado whatsoever, let's go to Caitlin with the Segadilla from a suite of 8 dances by Carlos Salcedo. A very beautiful performance, and Caitlin has just reminded me, I intended for at least one of my children to play the harp. Something happened, I don't know what, maybe it's not too late, who knows. So Caitlin Thew there, playing one of the suite of 8 dances by Carlos Salcedo. Next we have Jared Bignell, one of our pianists, and Jared is a student of Michelle Griffin. He's a recipient of the 2021 Reliance Bank Scholarship. And he's going to play a piece by an Australian contemporary composer who is also known as an examiner, a music educator, a composer of a great deal of piano music, particularly but not only for students. And that composer's name is Mark Gibson. He comes from Queensland, and as I say, he is very, very active in creating appropriate music for music pieces for piano students at various levels. And this is a wonderful thing that we have these days, essentially. Not only a great deal of historical repertoire, but the repertoire that's written specifically for developmental stages of students. So I think Jared is with us now, so I'm going to hand over right now to Jared, who's going to play Legend of Tanis by Mark Gibson. And Jared, of course, again, is a recipient of the 2021 Reliance Bank Scholarship. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared. Now, every now and then you might hear a little bit of hesitant clapping in the background. I'm going to encourage people to clap without any hesitation. Of course, this is streamed today because we do have restrictions on the number of people we can have inside the venue currently with COVID restriction, but the space that we're in does allow for 5 audience members, 5 family members. So I'm going to encourage from this point in that if anybody in this room wants to clap enthusiastically, they should feel free to do so. So I think we're up to our first singer for the day, which is an absolute treat. Addie Ellis is a recipient of a Bathurst Spring Spectacular Scholarship for 2021. She's going to sing Lost Boy by Ruth B, who was a Canadian singer. This is a great example of sort of 21st century social media phenomenon in that Ruth B did that, what is now sort of classic thing of posting a short portion of a song, an original song, social media, and it essentially becoming a hit overnight, which is pretty impressive. This is a song from 2015. It's called Lost Boy, and you'll probably be able to hear, if you don't know the song, that there's a sort of a Peter Pan-like reference and some references in there. So with no further ado, Addie Ellis, winner of the Bathurst Spring Spectacular Scholarship of 2021 with Lost Boy, and she is going to be accompanied by her teacher, Michelle Griffin.
Nowhere to go and no place to call home. My only friend was a man in the moon, and even sometimes he would go away too. Then one night as I closed my eyes, I saw a shadow flying high. He came to me with the sweetest smile, told me he wanted to talk for a while. He said, Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. And ever since that day, I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from all love, reality. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. He sprinkled me in pixie dust and told me to believe in him and believe in me. Together we will fly away in a cloud of green to your beautiful destiny. As we soared above the town that never loved me, I realized I finally had a family. Soon enough we reached Neverland. Peacefully my feet hit the sand, and ever since that day, I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from all love, reality. Neverland is home to to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me. Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, Wendy, darling, even Captain Hook, you are my perfect storybook. Neverland, I love you so, you are now my home, sweet home forever, a lost boy at last. Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, Wendy, darling, even Captain Hook, you are my perfect storybook. Neverland, I love you so, you are now my home, sweet home forever, a lost boy at last. And for always I will say, I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from a love reality. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free.
Thank you, Addie. So that's a fantastic example of progress and capability, particularly with a contemporary song. And I just want to pay particular recognition to Michelle Griffin, who's actually going to be accompanying the next singer as well. Sometimes people, particularly people who've come from the sort of a classical vocal world, including me, I will admit, sometimes don't immediately see the same sort of technical progression or capability in contemporary singing, but that was a fine example of just how that's apparent. Particularly with adolescent voices, and Addie I think is 13, so it's particularly impressive to see the work being done, particularly with a contemporary song where a young singer is always tempted to try to sound exactly the same as the original artist. And I think what we could hear there with Addie was both the integrity of the song, but also her technique, developing technique and capability to actually communicate as an artist herself. So there is my little rant on that one. The next performer is, we are very lucky to have Eliza King with us, another one of our vocal students. And Eliza is a recipient of a Rotary Club of Bathurst East Scholarship for 2021. And she's going to sing a beautiful song from one of my favourite musicals. It's Round Shouldered Man. And it is from The Secret Garden, which is a 1991 musical based on a book from 1911. Very, very beautiful. So I'll stop talking now. Eliza, accompanied by Michelle.
Some nights I dream that the round-shouldered man comes in my room on a beam of moonlight. He never says what he wants, he just sits with a book in his hands. And then I dream that the round-shouldered man takes me on a ride through the moors by moonlight. He never says where we'll go, we just ride across the hills till dawn. And some night I'm going to ask him, is the night sky black or blue? I know the answers in his book of all that's good and true. And once I dreamed that the round-shouldered man took my hand, and we walked to a secret garden. I heard my father speak my name as we sat in the crook of a broad
Yes, feel free to clap if you happen to be in the room. We know you're there. Indeed. Thank you, Eliza. And that's another fantastic example of a young voice being treated beautifully with appropriate repertoire, which is something that we take great pride in here at the Conservatorium. Young voices are precious, of course, and they do need to be treated carefully and caringly, and with the sort of songs that really suit the voice and that allow the voice, and the person for that matter, to develop healthily and appropriately. So Harrix Upston, another student who has been with us for several years, even though he's still very young. Harrix, I won't let him hear me say that though, I'm sure he's a very big boy by now. Harrix is one of our clarinet students, and he's been learning for some time from Holly Coleman, one of our woodwind tutors. Harrix is a recipient of the 2021 Quota International and Friends of the Conservatorium Scholarship. And Harrix is going to play a piece by, a little bit like Neil Finn. We claim this composer, and New Zealand claims him also, Mark Walton, who is a very fine and well-established woodwind, particularly educator, but music educator generally, who splits his time normally in non-COVID times between New Zealand and Australia. He's a very, very passionate composer, teacher, workshop artist, and this is one of his pieces. This is Harrix Upston playing Fidget by Mark Walton. Thank you, Harrix. Thank you. What a fantastic piece. And that's another example of repertoire that is written specifically to aid in the development of a student player at a particular point in time. So it's fantastic that we have these connections, and this is one of the great things about, or one of the great things that we as a conservatorium are able to do, to really make sure that we style the learning experience, the repertoire to the developmental stage, as well as what we see as the potential of the student. And Harrix is a great example of a student who has really benefited from that. We are up to our final performer for the day, and certainly no disappointment coming. Josephine Smith is one of our trumpet students, and she is a very, very deserving recipient of the 2021 Energy Australia Scholarship at the Mitchell Conservatorium. Josephine is a student of David Hood, and David Hood is another one of our very skilled and experienced teachers, both in trumpet, in which he is highly qualified, and also voice and keyboard. So Josephine is going to play a beautiful tune that is frequently heard as a vocal tune, whether as a solo or a choral piece. It's very, very moving. It's a traditional African American song, gospel song, called Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. And once we've heard from Josephine, I should also mention that she's being accompanied by Anna Smith, who coincidentally has the same surname. So there we go. I tried to get a small laugh and I got one. So no further ado, we're going to hear Josephine Smith with Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. Well, I'm going to clap that performance. Josephine Smith with our final performance for this afternoon, our 2021 Scholarship Holders Recital. A beautiful performance and accompanied by, yes indeed, her mother Anna Smith, who happens to be her mother, but is also one of the mainstays of our teaching staff and a wonderful musician. You could hear in that performance and all of our performances this afternoon that making music and what Mitchell Conservatorium is passionate about facilitating is developing the ability to express as well as to make those beautiful, beautiful sounds. So whenever anybody asks the question of why music or why music education, well, there it is demonstrated this afternoon. Before we finish, I want to just mention again all of the sponsors for our 2021 scholarship. So the Bathurst Gardeners Club, Energy Australia, Rotary Club of Bathurst Daybreak, the Lions Club, the Quota International, the ITP Bathurst, Also, Rotary District 9700, the Reliance Bank, and of course also New South Wales Government through the Department of Education and the Regional Conservatorium's grants program. I must also just mention that sadly this afternoon, due to a combination of the HSC kicking off tomorrow, with 3 exams for each of 2 students who were scholarship winners. Oscar Stocks on French horn, taught by Campbell Barnes, who was a winner of the Lions Club of Bathurst Scholarship. Fergus Mashman, piano, a student of David Hood's, also the Rotary Club of Bathurst Scholarship winner. Isabel Roundel, who was ill this afternoon, sadly, and had to be a last-minute apology. We hope you get better very soon, Isabel. On flute, she has been taught by Sam Sherler-Jones, and she was a recipient of a Rotary Club of Bathurst Daybreak Scholarship. And also Toby Goff, one of our marvellous singing students, a winner of the ITP Bathurst Scholarship for 2021. I need to also thank firstly, Brenton Cox of Brenton Cox Photography, who has for some time now done all of our still photography. He's a fantastic photographer, so that's great. Big thanks to Brenton, who's taking photos of me as we speak. Also to Pat Greer, who has been our partner videographer for about 3 years now. Pat does a fantastic job and is responsible for all of the video footage that you will see associated with Mitchell Conservatorium. And then also Dave Webb, who's done the sound this afternoon. Dave is one of our much loved contemporary tutors and also frequently does audio for us, so thank you, Dave. Also to Lauren Hagney, who is our marketing and communications manager. Lauren always doing a fantastic job to keep the word and the right word going out. Phil Braithwaite, our Associate Director, all of the staff members who've accompanied this afternoon, and the administrative staff who support every single thing we do, every single day that we do it. Lastly, carols at Tremaines. Now, of course, the last couple of years, COVID has meant that we haven't been able to host carols at McCaddy Park here in Bathurst, the major community carols event of the year. The major event of the year, I'd say, in Bathurst. But we have been able to run a ticketed event at Tremaines Mill in Keppel Street in Bathurst, and we're going to do that again this year. It's on the 12th of December. Due to COVID restrictions and public health order, of course, it does have to be ticketed, and we do have to have social distancing in place for the 12th of December. So it is selling fast, I can tell you that quite confidently. Tickets are $5 per person. If you go to our webpage, www.mitchellconservatorium.edu.au, or like us on Facebook, Instagram will be there. By all means, get in touch and get some tickets. It's going to be a beautiful way to see out 2021, and that's on the 12th of December at 7 p.m. That's well and truly enough for me. Thank you for helping us celebrate our scholarship winners for 2021. Bye now.